Have you seen UGC creators and content creators in general post about how they are ready to cash in on Q4? They're like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, getting my business ready to make all this money. You better be doing the same. And you're like, I want a piece of that pie. I want in on all this, but I honestly have no freaking clue where to start. If that is you, this video is for you. Today, I'm going to give you 10 rapid fire things that I personally am doing in my business to really prepare it for Q4 so that I can squeeze every bit of juice out of it that I can. They're all incredible, but number 10, in my opinion, is going to be the game changer for me. Now, a little context. In my personal opinion, I don't think that UGC monetized content creation is one size fits all. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what I'm personally doing, and I want you to take from it what works for you and leave the rest, and then add your own flavor. I personally don't think that there is one specific way, one right way to scale a content creation business. This is just personally what I am doing based on what has worked for me in the past and what has been working for me this year. I'm going to remove what hasn't worked, and I'm going to triple down on what has worked. So let's get into this. Okay, number 1, I am refining my self-care. Now you might be like, I thought this video was about making more money, and in my personal opinion, that is the key. If I don't get proper sleep, if my nutrition is off, if my mind is all over the place, I cannot show up as my best self, not only for my friends and family, but especially for my business, especially a creative job like UGC, like content creation, where a lot of my income comes straight from my brain and the ideas that I can come up with. My self-care has to be a priority. So my sleep hygiene, my workouts, my journaling, all of the things that I do every day that are easy to do and just as easy not to do, I am locking in on the boring things and I'm ensuring that they get done. When you get in a busy season, it can be so easy to, I'll go for a walk tomorrow. And it's okay if I just grab fast food today. The little tiny things don't seem like that big of a deal when you are running like a crazy person, and they really do add up. So that is number 1. I'm locking in on my self-care. Okay, number 2, I am really paying attention to my time blocks. I'll be super honest. I have been more lenient than I've been in the last 10 years when it comes to time blocking this year. And if you've been listening to me, you might be like, but you talk about time blocking all the time. And it's not that I don't time block, but in the past, I have been so regimented down to the minute every single day. And I've seen crazy, massive results from that. This year, I have scaled back on that a little bit. I've given myself a little bit more freedom, a little bit more spontaneity, and it's been incredible. And for the next couple of months, I'm locking back in. I know the potential that can come on the other side of me locking in for Q4, and you best believe I am capitalizing on that, period, end of discussion. So every Friday, if I can't get to it Friday, I do it on Sunday, but I try to do it on Friday. That way I don't have to think about it all weekend, because sometimes if I leave it for Sunday, when I'm trying to enjoy my Friday evening and my Saturday and my Sunday morning, I keep thinking, I'm going to have to sit down and plan my week. I have to sit down and plan my week, versus if I do it on Friday, I don't have to think about it, and then I'm just excited to get the week started. So upping those time blocks. Okay, number 3 kind of has a little bit to do with 1 and 2, but I want it to be its own thing so that I pay attention to it, and that is pre-scheduling breaks. When there is opportunity, when there is income flowing, when brands are reaching out, it can be so easy to just yes your whole calendar away. Look, I fall prey to this. I know myself. That's why I'm ensuring that this happens, because it can be so easy to see all of the potential, see all of the opportunity, and know that you worked hard for it, and just completely fill your calendar up. And for me, if I don't have a break scheduled, if I don't have something fun scheduled, I won't do it. I'm not someone who's like, you know what? I think I'm just going to take the day off today. that's not going to happen ever. So I am pre-scheduling, like right now, breaks for September, October, November, and December. December I'm not as worried about because things really do start to slow down. The brands are busy, they're running ads, but really the bulk of the creation work is October and November. I have a couple of vacations planned for September, and then I have one planned for October. So I kind of have already naturally some breaks planned in, but I am really going to try at least once every 2 weeks to have a day where I do nothing. I have nothing on the calendar. I don't have plans with anyone else. Like, it is just a free day for me to do absolutely nothing, hang out with my family, hang out with my friends, whatever it is that I want to do. Okay. Number 4, I am updating my portfolio. Now, this is a hill that I will die on. In my personal opinion, I think that until you have a good, strong set of foundational pieces of creative, so you have 12 to 15 pieces of content that you have either created as an example or you've created for a brand, you don't need a complex portfolio. The students that I coach, I give them a template. It is very simple. It is the one that I used for 2 years. I made a lot of money off of it. It's very plain. It's very simple. And I do believe that everyone should start there. But once you've kind of graduated and you have your certain flavor down, you've gotten results from brands, I think it is natural to branch out and have like a scrolling website and animations. And so I am currently working on that portfolio now. I'm really excited about it. It looks really good. And I just can't wait to start presenting that to brands because I do feel like I have reached a new level of my content creation business. And I think that it really demonstrates that. So that is what I'm working on is the look of my portfolio. Now, speaking of portfolio, number 5, I am refining my portfolio gaps. Now, there are niches, industries that I want to create in that I don't have examples for. For example, hair and beauty and fashion. I would love to get into all of that, and I just don't have a lot of high quality examples. So what I'm doing right now is ensuring that I get those examples into my portfolio. Now, it would be super easy for me to just go around my house and, find products and film them and add them in. However, I am doing it a little differently. Some people would really disagree with the way that I'm doing this, but I'm doing it and it's what's working for me. I am reaching out to really big beauty brands, really big fashion brands, really big like jewelry, that whole area, and I am accepting gifted collabs. Now, obviously, if they want to go ahead and pay me, that's totally fine. But a lot of these big brands I've turned down in the past because they did gifted only. And I wasn't interested in gifted. I just didn't have the capacity to create essentially free content for them. However, now that I am really wanting to fill in those gaps, I am reaching back out to them and accepting some of those gifted collaborations because I don't want to just nilly-willy create content. I want to hear from these brands specifically what they are wanting. And on the other side too, I want to create these relationships with them for when they do have paid opportunities. So it's a little bit of a like a two sides of the coin. But the one thing that I really want to focus on is not just creating like me, picking up a piece of a lipstick tube and creating a piece of content for it, but really hearing from a lipstick brand, hey, this is our campaign, this is our goal, this is who we're speaking to, this is what we found works for them, and creating content that brands are actually asking for, if that makes any sense. So I've got maybe 3 or 4 gifted collabs that I'm working on right now, and I'm really excited about them. They're really big brands. They will fill in those gaps in my portfolio, so I'll have those assets to pitch to future beauty and fashion brands, and then I'll also have those relationships with the brands as well. So Really excited about that. Okay, number 6, I am following up with past clients. In my opinion, this is one of the best ways to secure new brand deals is to just follow up with people that have already worked with you. They know your communication style. They know that you turn stuff in on time. They know that you film in good lighting, that you edit well, and that you can read a brief. So really, truly, that is the best way to not just in Q4, not just like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but at any point, that is the best way to get new business is to go back to the clients that you've already taken care of and see if they need anything. Some of them, it's not that they forget about you, but they just get so in a hurry. And especially if you did a good job, if they have a campaign that they're working on that you would be perfect for, they're going to bump you to the front of the line. Okay, number 7, I am connecting with agencies. I have mixed feelings about agencies occasionally. I am not a fan of agencies across the board. However, the agencies that I love, I absolutely love. And so what I've been doing is there's 2 or 3 agencies that I work with pretty consistently, and they all know each other in that world. And so I've asked like, hey, I'm trying to get into this niche. I'm trying to get into this market. Do you have an agency recommendation? And most of them have been very forthcoming and very kind with connecting me with other high quality agencies because I want to work with similar agencies across the board. And when I say similar agencies, I mean similar in the way that they communicate, in how organized they are, and how they treat their creators. All of that to me is more important than necessarily how much I get paid. Now, how much I get paid is very important. But how I'm treated is really important to me. For me, I can create 10 times more and make 10 times more money if I'm treated well. And, the briefs are organized and the upload process is easy and the payment process is easy. Like it makes it all worth it. And so communicating and getting in touch with new agencies that are similar to the agencies that I already love has been really beneficial for me. And so I'm really leaning into that right now. Okay, number 8, I am refining my personal branding. Personal branding is such a hot topic right now. If it confuses you and you're like, what is personal branding? It is just what people think of when they hear your name or when they see your face. Like that's literally all it is. There are 1,000 different ways that you can approach personal branding, but at the core of it, that's all personal branding is. And so for me, I really analyzed my content. I went back and looked at 2026 because this year I've seen a massive tenfold increase in my business. My business doesn't look anything like what I started off January of 2026 with. Now that it's almost August of 2026. My business just looks so different. I'm so proud of it. It has grown so much. And so I went back and I analyzed, okay, of my organic content that I created for myself, what really moved the needle for me? Not what went viral, not what got me more like creator followers, but what got me inbounds, what landed me this, what landed me that. And what I noticed was there was certain content that I was creating that was attracting creators, and then there was content that I was creating that was attracting brands. And so I'm really, really, really leaning into the content that attracts brands. That would be a really good next video. I think I might do that next week of content that attracts creators and content versus content that attracts brands, because it is 2 different styles. Now, you can still attract brands with creator-led content and vice versa. I see people do it all the time. But what I found is when I really lean into speaking directly to brands versus speaking directly to creators, I do see a difference in my inbounds. If I were leaning more into the creator coach side, which I do have that arm of my business, but I don't want it to be my primary source of income. I like coaching. I like being a mentor. It's fun to me. And I don't want to be doing that all the time. I want to be creating. I want to be talking to brands. I want to be strategizing. So depending on what your goal is, you're going to really want to think through the content that you're creating. But I'll work on that for next week's episode. I think that'd be a really good one of content for brands versus content for creators, because it is a little different. Okay, number 9, I am networking with other UGC creators that are where I want to be. Okay. I am in a lot of group chats. I'm in a lot of like Discord groups and Slacks and all these things. And that's all great and wonderful. I follow a lot of creators. I talk to a lot of creators. And what I have found is, and this is not a knock at anyone, but it is nice to have at least one group that is 10 steps ahead of you. Because if you don't, you forget what's possible. So for example, I got invited to a group chat. I mean, that's all it is. It's a group text. About a month ago. It's a group of creators that I met on Threads, and they're making like a lot of money. Like I'm over here like, is $20,000 a month even possible? And they're blowing that out of the water. It's wild. And so anyway, I got invited to this group chat with them, and it's just really opened my mind, not only to what's possible, but to how it's possible to get there. Because when I hear $50,000 months, I'm over here thinking, man, I'm going to have to crank out some content. I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to have to do that. And they're over here like, oh no, I have 5 clients a month. I'm like, what? And so just keep that in mind when you are networking. Like, yes, it's fun to have people that you can kind of complain with, you know, and you're like, oh, this isn't working, and oh, poor us, and oh, this is sad. And it's nice to have people that are like, oh no, this is so possible. Like, oh, you can definitely do that. It really challenges you and it really pushes you. Like, I get so uncomfortable sometimes reading their text. And when I get uncomfortable, like when it triggers me, I'm like, ooh, this is exactly what I need. Okay, number 10. This is the big one for me because it's crazy. I've been doing this for 3 years and I haven't done this up until this point, but I am upgrading all of my equipment. So I keep the latest iPhone, and I do have a DJI Pocket Osmo something. I don't even know what number it is. And so I do have those 2 items, but other than that, I don't really use a lot of equipment. I never have before. And that is changing this year. So I have professional lighting. I have all kinds of different tripods. I'm getting all kinds of lenses and clips and all kinds of stuff. I'm going to link all of it in the show notes in the description. If you're interested in what any of it is, if you're looking to upgrade any of your equipment, I will say this. I made a lot of money without needing any of that. Don't feel like you have to go buy all of this stuff in order to make money, because you don't. Absolutely not. But if you are at that point in your business, like where I'm at, it's to me, it becomes necessary at a certain point if you want to get to that next level. I will say that's one of the biggest things that's been different about me joining this new group chat is the little things. They take the little things so seriously, like their lighting. I mean, they will spend hours finding good lighting before they even start filming. They will spend, hours like testing angles. And I think for me, I was always like, oh, well, this is good enough. Oh, well, that's good enough. And there is no good enough with them. And that's why they're making the money that they're making. And so it's really, like I said, it's challenged me. It's triggered me a little bit. And that's how I know that's exactly what I need to hear. Okay, those are the 10 things that I am doing to level up and prepare my UGC business for Q4, for Black Friday, for Cyber Monday, for all of this money that all of us are about to make. I want to make a lot of it, okay? I have really big goals that are kind of a little scary, and I'm super excited about them. And I know that these 10 things, doing them now is going to put my business in the best position to achieve those goals. Okay, I hope that this was helpful. If you found value from this, let me know in the comments. If you're listening on the podcast, make sure that you subscribe and leave a review, and then send this episode to one of your content creator friends. Hopefully you've got a group chat with some content creators in it that you love, and send this to the group chat and say, hey, it is time to lock in for Q4. We got to get ready right now. So send them this episode. Okay, with that, I will see you in the next one.